last week started speaking about one of the Yehudim, one of the promises that speaks about Moshiach's days is that Asida Isha Shetel B'chol Yom. Women will give birth every single day. The kesher, in connection to that, I wanted to also discuss a little bit other aspects that are maybe directly or indirectly connected with that, and then we'll discuss that Maimer Chazal a little bit more. There is a Mechilta, a medrash that says that when Moshiach will come, every single Yid will have children, sons, ki yotzei Mitzrayim, as many as those that went out of Mitzrayim, which is 600,000.
More we're not. Only that.
Yeah, I'm saying that officially the number that went out of Mitzrayim is Shishim Ribi, 600,000. And it brings a pasuk in Tillim, it says, Tachas aveisecha yiu vanecha. That, in the place of your fathers will be your sons, which means that the Yidden will have as many children as, every single Yid will have as many children as the Avis Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov had. And then it says, you might think if they're going to be, not only they'll have children, but they're going to be chashuva people. It says, you might think they'll be businessmen. So the pasuk says, Tachas aveisecha yiu vanecha tishiseimu l'sorim b'chol haaretz. He'll make them ministers, important people. Then the medrash continues and says, if it's I forgot exactly how he continues. He goes on to the pasuk, Vatam tili mamlechas kainim v'goy kaddish. Says that even if it's ministers, but he says says he brings, they'll be like kings. Vatam tili mamlechas, they'll be like kings. But even kings, sometimes they have to go to war. So he brings the pasuk koyanim. What does koyanim mean? Koyanim means, it says that the sons of David were koyanim. They were like ministers. They were princes. It says they were all cared for. So the Yidden will be koyanim. Says then another medrash it finishes. If they're going to be koyanim, you might think that they're going to be betalim, like like you could have a prince, you could have a king. He's he runs the world. He owns a lot, but there's nothing special about him. So it says v'goy kaddish. Every single Yid will be holy. So from here, the Medrash says that we see over here that every single Yid will have 600,000 children. The same Maimer Chazal is brought down in Medrash Tillim on the pasuk Tachas aveisecha yiu vanecha. I think it's the end of Kapitel Hey or something. And he says there that, but there he adds a piece. He says, don't wonder on this statement that we said that every single Jew will have 600,000 children. He says because a chicken, a hen, lays, says the different gersois here, regular hen or tarnagelos habor, certain type of hen lays in a long day she lays 2 eggs, and in a short day she lays 1 egg. So in other words, Yidden will have children like Al-Darach, what I mentioned last week, that Gamliel showed a chicken to the student that was wondering how is it possible for a woman to have a child every day. He showed how a chicken lays an egg every day. But in this matter, she adds a twist. Sometimes she lays 2 eggs every day. In other words, Yidden will have children, so many, and also a number of children together. Now, if you make if you make the calculation, in order to have, if a person will have 1 child a day, in order to have 600,000 children, I think it's a cheshbon of 16,647 years later. I might be off a few years, but I made the cheshbon
16,000.
1,600. To say it's 1,000 and
600.
like 247 years to have 1,000 children. Only just make a cheshbon, 100,000 days. How many years that is? So
I don't know if the cheshbon has to be that way.
Good.
Each child can have children also, and then it's also your children. Right, good. Enochanam. So, first of all, what is the point of having so many children? So, Pshat, it's not a big question. It's Pshat, and besides, contrary to today's mentality, but having a lot of children is a bracha. It says the Medrash speaks about the Doir HaMabul, which I'll soon get to. Because there's a connection between the way things were then, the way things will be when Moshiach will come. By the Doir HaMabul, before the flood, it says, and why did they sin? Because they had abundance of good. They didn't have to work the fields. It says that
They used to have different midrashim, but the point is the atmosphere was very healthy. It was like springtime all year round. They would have to sow maybe once in 40 years, and the trees would produce fruit on its own. They were strong and mighty. They didn't get sick.
After the Skala Adomo.
Because the Niskal Adom was one Adam Rishon, but Noach is Nocha.
Aber still Nocha.
Gut, the Medrash sagt nicht Stam gewesen noch. Which
we don't have today.
Which we don't have today. No, that's why the Eibush said this is why, because the Deir HaMabel they had such good, and it says that they had so many children. Each one had many children, katsoin, like sheep. In other words, they had such abundance of good. They said they were murdered in the Eibush. They rebelled in the Eibush. So the Eibush said, first of all, he made life rough and tough. That first came to Mabul. And after the Mabul, a person's life is 120 years. Then the Eibush made the different seasons of the year. It says after the Mabul, it said Lo Yishbois is going to be summer, winter, and it's going to, it won't be
before the Mabul was also Mr.
Is the andere Mefarshim sagen?
As
nicht. Some Mefarshim learn Pshat that they say the sun went with I think I mentioned this in the past in one year. The sun went together with the equator. The sun didn't go on one parallel to the earth. So the whole was.
It's complicated. It's very, very complicated to go that way because cheshbenis of the
days
of everything the Rambam makes is b'bris ha'elam, and if it wasn't following that thing, and you lost the whole format of calculation, how to figure out how it was. Because
a year, a day, a week,
it won't work if the whole system of this galaxy of how the sun.
Rambam lives from after the Rambam.
No, he doesn't count from after the Rambam. He comes from this.
No, because the Rambam definitely doesn't learn that way. Because the Rambam clearly learns as he doesn't learn like this b'chlam. But Zar Mefarshim to learn this. I'm saying how they fit with Kiddush HaChedesh they go to Shiloh. So the idea of having an abundance of children is considered the Siman Bracha in Pashtus. The more than people today's day and age, with modern and secular way of looking at things.
No, the problem is today the world is a rotten world. Everything's hard. Everything goes hard for you. Jemand sein alles grün und gut. Kinder sein gut und die Welt sein gut und alles sein gut. Was this is a bracha.
I'm saying people today they have children in the studio they can't sit and watch a movie by night if they have to take care of their child. It's a different type of world. Everything is from Doiskichash the Letzte Pruta. They have one or two children.
That's a problem.
And the dog and the cat.
Bringing up the kids rebel against
people that have money in the secular world. Nothing with having money. Even people who have a lot of money, having more than two children is unheard of. That wasn't the Islam position they gave us. But then there's another because another Nikud is that it says that one of the brachas the Eibush gave Avram as a samti as zaracha kafara chaylayam kafara others. The Eibush will make Yidden as numerous as the sand by the seashore. And so when is this bracha going to be fulfilled? It will be fulfilled when Moshiach will come. It says that the Yidden will be the Noif Nashallah Yisafar Mirayv, won't be able to count them. This bracha is going to be Mekul when Moshiach will come. It says the Yidden are bleak wool. So the fact that every Yid will have so many children is going to manifest the bracha of the Eibush at Avram Avinu that Yidden will be unlimited.
It's an interesting thing. I'm sorry if you're going away from this, but it's an interesting thing. But in the Welt, you see this very often, that when they start asking these kind of questions, you tell them, tell me, did you ever sit down and calculate how many stars in the world there? The world, you see how big the world is? The Kashmir today, there's billions of stars.
Yeah.
So, and the stars, they know that they're much greater and bigger than this place for them.
Modern brachas.
Yeah.
Fine. So that's in Pshat. Now there's another word here, which for some people that have a hard time accepting this in Pshat, but there's side by side, it's an important idea to discuss. Mefarshim explained that there's another layer over here. Maybe some someone's the main idea. Doesn't necessarily mean that in quantity-wise, every single Jew will have as many children as those that went out of Mitzrayim, 600,000. But it means quality-wise. In other words, that we know that Yidna went out of... I'm using my own words, but I hope I'm not saying anything that doesn't fit with the sources. We know the Chassidus explains that every one of the neshamas that went out of Mitzrayim, the 600, the source of neshamas of Yidden, is 600,000. Okay, there's many millions of Yidden, but we always know that the root neshamas, 6 times 6, the root neshamas has 600,000. So today, every neshama is what? Every neshama is a nitzitz. Every neshama is an offshoot of an offshoot of an offshoot of one of the main neshamas. So the 600,000 people that went out of Mitzrayim, they want each one of them, like it's Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, Perek Lamed Zayin, each neshama, when it comes down to a lower world, breaks further into 600,000, and so on and so forth. So the Yidden that went out of Mitzrayim, they were neshamas klolius, root neshamas, and they had the level of understanding that they had. And so in each one of us, you can understand, let's say you have one neshama, and there's a nitzutz in a bunch of neshamas. Each one understands a little bit, that one understands a little bit, that one understands a little bit. But the root neshama, imagine it has all the understanding of all these different sparks put together. So its understanding is much, totally greater. So every single Yid will basically say in the Kudah in simple words is that every single Yid doesn't necessarily mean that the quantity will be 600,000, but the quality of each child that will be born will be like 600,000. So it will be like those that went out of Mitzrayim, which their neshamas, they were root neshamas, they contained within themselves 600,000 parts. Their understanding was on a totally different level. And Mefarshim connect this is a famous medrash that says that which woman in Mitzrayim was pregnant with 600,000 children. Yeah, which woman was it? Yechevet, Moshe Rabbeinu's mother. Moshe Rabbeinu was shokol. Moshe Rabbeinu was equal to all 600,000 Yiddins. There's a medrash, a certain that was trying to get,
By Ochen, who died. I'll say also there wasn't.
There fine. You have in a number of places. You have a number of places in the Drashim that you have. One was there. He was shokol like 36 people. You have other places people that were shokol like 7,000 people. Eliezer Lamashal was shokol, but here 600,000 is a much bigger number. So Moshe Rabbeinu was koilel all neshamas, included all Yidden. So he was 600. So it was one person. Yechevet was pregnant with one person. She gave birth only to Moshe Rabbeinu. She included 600,000. So Mefarshim explained the same word. The loss of each one will be koilel of 600,000 in the shamas. And they even go. One of the Mefarshim even goes on to explain. He goes through a whole thing in Ganze Maisa. He explains even the whole hemshech of the medrash. You might think they're Sodom, they're Malachim. He says that even if he explains the ganze thing that the crowns that Yidden got by Matan Torah, each Yid got by Matan Torah 2 crowns, one for Nasa, one for Nishma. And he explained these crowns are a great level of prophecy in Yidiyas Hashem. Rabbi explains the basis of Kabbalah. Lost of love will be returned. And he says, this is the idea that every Yid will be like Yotzei Mitzrayim, like those that stood by Har Sinai, like those that went out of Mitzrayim and stood by Har Sinai, that had this great revelation that was given to them. And he says,
here's less than 9. This is also have a full night. The best way to do the Rambam says the best.
I forgot the whole thing, but he says, Moshe, it says that they're not. The Medrash says, I might think they're ministers, they're going to be kings, and I might think have to wage war. They won't have to wage war; they'll be kohanim. He says that now, when you have kedusha, you sometimes have to fight the klipa. Somebody that has a high neshama, it could be has a high neshama, but he still has to battle the klipa. Then they won't have to battle the klipa; they'll have the das, will be b'shleimus, won't have to have milchama with the sitrach. Yeah, he explains it up here. Al derech hakabal, al derech hased, explains the sinning. So getting back to the original point is one of them is, again, I don't think they're a contradiction one to another, but there's 2 ways of understanding the medrash. One is begashmis, quantity-wise, each Jew will have 600,000 children, and also quality-wise. I would just add that the medrash tilim, which means a mashal from the Tarnagelas, from the chicken, is abyssal mashma, that it's begashmis. If you're trying to say that each one will have 600,000 children, that the quality of the child will equal 600,000, what's the raya from the chicken? What are you proving from the chicken?
I thought would be there was Shisha Bekera Sechot, that would also in Mitzrayim.
Right.
So if the time, the few thousand, the few years is Shisha Bekera Sechot, and you got some animals that goes in quicker. That
shishim, it says, you have
by the fishes go b'chlal a bigger number.
Yeah, in Achanami, so that's the, Mepharshim say that they'll have sides, the Rishonim bring down the loss level, it'll be 6 at a time, and so whatever, and they'll be.
In Mitzrayim was Shisha B'Keres Echad.
Yeah, it also says that in the Deir HaMabul, another thing is also Shisha B'Keres Echad. That the generation of the Mabul, they also had children 6 at a time. The Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer says. Fine. This was one prat they wanted to mention. Another Indian is that this is an additional to the fact that we know that the pain of labor and childbirth and gidul and raising children, all of these things was given as a result of Chetei Tzadas. Loss of love and the Chetei Tzadas will be taken away. The Medrash says there won't be any pain of birth, so before a woman will know it, she'll already have the baby. Al Derech Zeh, it's understood there won't be any pain of labor. Besides the fact that labor will be a few hours. It won't be.
Would the twins that were born with them all in the same day?
And this is from Nishazai Pasha, because it says Alu Lamita Shnaim V'Yardu Arba. There was Cain and his twin were born according to some Midrashim only before Chetei Tzadas.
But they were accompanying the same day, two different births. Cain and Abel were 2 different births.
Yeah.
In the same day.
I don't know if
in 1 hour.
I'm not sure. Also, everyone, there won't be any. There won't be any akaras. Won't be any problems having children, fertility problems. It's interesting. Gemara. There's a passage that speaks in Yechezkel about a nachal, about a river that will come out from the Kodesh HaKadoshim. One of the very interesting nevuos that the whole Kuntras Umayim Beis Hashem. We all know Kuntras Umayim. Kuntras Umayim is based on the passage speaking about a spring that will come up from the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Very interesting thing it says about it. Very miraculous point. So one of the things that it says, and obviously it's much deeper.
Every Nashiyah from there.
Well, from the Kodesh HaKadoshim, whoever it comes, says will come from there. From the Kodesh HaKadoshim will start as a tiny thin thread of water, get bigger and bigger. Obviously, there's deeper meanings. But the whole life from the says will become a rushing river that even big boats won't be able to go through, as I state. And it says that on the banks of the river, trees will grow. Every month they'll give out fruit, and the fruits will be eaten, and the leaves will be used for medicine, for healing. It says "Volehu litrufa." The leaves of trufa we know is remedies, healing. And the Gemara, the Midrashim speak about it. The Gemara speaks about different opinions what the remedies will be. One of the main opinions are litrufa means it's made up of 2 words, lahatir pet, to open up or to untie the mouth. And one explanation is that it means the people that are mute, that can't speak Rahman al-Islam, they'll eat from it and they'll be able to speak, it'll open up the mouth. Another one is it'll open up lahatir pet shalmata, that a woman that can't have children, so it'll open up her opening and she should be able to have children. Besides the fact that it says in other places the Eibusher will heal all women that they can't have children. So this b'chlal that the childbirth will obviously be very easy, but there's another interesting thing here. The children that will be born. I mentioned this in the past, but it's interesting. There's a sefer to Rabbi Yehuda Chos, which wasn't even printed yet. It's called Sefer HaKavod. Kabbalistic sefer.
What do you mean wasn't printed? Where is it?
It's in Ksav Yad. Parts of it were printed. There's a sefer, there's a guy that's working and printed a number of past few, recently, everything is relative. 10 years, 9 years ago, or more, different sort of Rabbi Yehuda Chos. So he quotes this thing, he said he's working on printing it. So he writes that Rabbi Yehuda Chos writes that Moshiach, when a child will be born, he'll be able to walk the day he's born, and he'll be able to speak, and he'll know everything the day he's born. And he brings a raya from the Deir HaMabul. What happened by the Deir HaMabul? Deir HaMabul is a medrash that says a few places that, like I mentioned in the past, when a woman would give birth, she would tell her son that's just born to go get a knife and cut the umbilical cord. And they spoke, and there's a ganze meisim with that one of the children met a shade, and the shade was threatening it, and it said it threatened it back. That a very interesting thing. So he said, Pasuk says, Mashan Hayuhushiyah, whatever it was, will happen again. So he says, L'moisa Moshiach, a child that will be born, he'll be totally developed. The Rebbe really said the same words. The Rebbe spoke once a whole sikha. I was just saying that sometimes the Rebbe said like this, sometimes the Rebbe said the other way. But the Rebbe said a whole sikha a few times. He said this word. The Rebbe spoke a whole sikha that when Moshiach was, when was Moshiach born? Moshiach was born Tisha B'Av. Right the second the Beis HaMikdash was born, Moshiach was born. What's the point of Moshiach being born? That if the Yidden are deserving, the Rebbe said that the best time l'chayra that Moshiach could have come was right after the Churban. When were the Yidden as awakened as the second the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed? So it could have been used as a great opportunity for do tshuva Moshiach should come. So Moshiach was born that second. So the Rebbe asked, what's the point of Moshiach being born that second? Moshiach is a baby. How could a small baby do anything? So the Rebbe learns Nishkin Shaila. The Rebbe says, if in the Deir HaMabel, the Rebbe brings this message, if in the Deir HaMabel, the generation before the Mabel, a child was able to speak the day he was born, so this was after Chet Tzadas. When Mashiach will come and she'll be back to the way it was before Chet Tzadas, and even more, we know that the Rebbe always said, the world was created in a complete way. Mashiach will come, will be even greater than that. So then, what's the shaila to say that a small baby, and the Rebbe Bechal said that a Yechida, L'mayla Midarach HaTeva, something just higher than nature, it has no limitations, it has to be a baby, it has to be a grown-up. So the Rebbe said the baby could speak. He brought the Haftarah from Achron Shal Pesach. It says that V'gor Seifim Kefes, Wolfula, V'nar Koten Noyegvam, a small child will lead them. So the Rebbe said, you see, the Haftarah is stressing, even a small child already will be on a very high level. And there are other times that will just say clearly the Rebbe Kilu said the other way, that Mashiach has to already be an adult. But you see, there's a word that children that will be born will be on a much on a day of Shlema. There's also another interesting thing here. The Shalah, he writes, discusses the difference. The Eibishter told Adam Rishon, Pru'Revu, the mitzvah of having children. He told Noach before Chet Tzadas, right? You have in the Torah right in the beginning of Parshas Bereishis. It says Pru'Revu, be fruitful and multiply, and then by Parshas Noach after the Mabul Eibishter again says Pru'Revu. So he explains the whole thing. Just to rephrase his words very short, he explains that the true meaning, the true point of the mitzvah of Pru'Revu was to give birth to children that will be coming from the side of Kedusha, side their neshamas will be holy, side their bodies will be holy, that they won't die like it would have been before the Chet. There wouldn't have been the Chet Tzadas, their bodies would have been pure and holy, they wouldn't have died. So the true meaning of Pru'Revu, Beruchnius, is similar to the way Malachim come one from the next. In other words, it's a very holy thing. It says after the Chet Tzadas and after the Mabul, so now the whole, the people that are born, when Mashiach comes, they don't live forever. And so Mamela, the Pru'Revu, you're just keeping the species, the human species alive. You're not keeping each child that's born alive. And also the guf that he has is nishtayayay. The neshama that he has is, so that's when Mashiach will come. So in other words, the children that will be born, the true, I'm not saying the halach of the mitzvah, but the true meaning, the true intention of the Eibishter wanted lechatchila, the mitzvah of Pru'Revu, is to have holy children, people that are their side their guf is holy, side their body is holy, side they live forever. That will be dafka when Mashiach will come. Anyway, if you're getting back, so this is throwing into this discussion. I don't know if it's so relevant. But you have one of the things that people, even the Midrash and speak about it, people ask, how is the world going to have enough space for everyone that's going to be alive when Mashiach will come?
Especially if you say each one is going to have Kiyetz Mitzrayim.
Yeah. So the Rebbe says, Midrash already asked this question, not this particular Maimer Chazal, the person who has so many children, but regarding Tchiyas HaMeisim, that after Tchiyas HaMeisim, how is the world going to contain everyone? And the simple answer is, the Eibush is going to make the world bigger. It says, you have Moshe Yerushalayim, it says, go ad l'rekia, until the heavens, you'll have skyscrapers, kipshuta, now you have skyscrapers, 100 floors. It says the clouds, lift you up from elevators, you'll have cloud elevators. It's interesting that the
scientists today have all guns, what's going to be in future generation with water, with scientists today. The Chayra won't be enough water if the world population is going to multiply and triple and
Sein verdeiget.
it's da doch mit ich weiß nicht mit tut
Weißt du, ja, wegen dem, wegen 6.000.
no ich sag
that was the worry.
no nicht das aber ein
Ja.
die was glauben nicht die Moshiach there's no elephant.
Those that believe in Mashiach not worry about this. They miss the water. Misha Amar le Shem v'yad legem lechem Wasser.
But there's another interesting answer that I saw. It's a Medrash Talpiyas. I mean, we can't say, I don't know, you could question it or not. Anyway, I'll just say is he says that in the Beis HaMikdash, right? There was as many Jews packed in, they were packed like sardines.
Yeah.
There was a miracle that happened when they had to bow down so that everyone had 4 amos around them. So there's a word that he says. Chassidus says a similar word, but a bit different. He says, what is the idea here? He says that Yid went into the Beis HaMikdash, he was elevated on a spiritual plane. In a spiritual plane, you could have a few things in the same place. You could have something that's a gashmi, a physical thing, is teifus makom, takes up space. The idea of gashmi is, if I'm here, you can't be in my space. I take up space. Ruchnis, let's say, just give a stupid example. In your head, you could have many ideas contained in the same small brain space. There's many malachim could come to the world and be in the same place. And Ruchni is, you don't have this idea that one thing takes away the space of something else. So he says, Allah didn't be al derech to matzav didn't were in the Beis HaMikdash in such a more spiritual plane. So then, the Gashmis won't be teifas mokim. Exactly, the Gashmis, they won't take up space or take up each other's space. Exactly how to explain this, I can't tell you. But in the Maimorim, but in the Maimorim, the Fidik Rebbe, you do have this word of that in base he says al derech mokim u'aron einim min hamidah. The Aron didn't take up space. Also in the Beis HaMikdash, when people were bottled to the Elikus, so it's not a city. You could have something which doesn't take up space.
Okay, I mean, it's nimna nimnois.
But he brings together with that.
That is that it had to be a place.
But he brings together. But he brings together with that. He brings Emdim Sufim Mishtachim Revachim, which was not nimna nimnois. But he brings down the word.
Du sagst in Zufim, also der Mittag wenn Zufim. Sie wenn Zufim. Mishtachim Revachim.
Das ist Mishtachavim, the bow down to Hashem, you reach a state of bittul, so then there's enough room for everyone. When you're standing, stam you, but when you're bowing down, then you reach a level that you're that's the point. Yeah. Fine. Just to get back to what I started speaking about, I see the Isha Shatel B'chol Yom, a woman will have children every day. So I mentioned last week a few nekudas here. There's more to speak about. I don't have much time to elaborate. Why not? It says that one of the later on she won't even need her husband. She'll have children on her own.
That sounds like a Goyish concept.
So either she can. Now it doesn't say from the Eibishter. It says she'll have children on her own. It doesn't say from the Eibishter. So
she'll become like a one-celled animal, right?
So anyway,
no, explain the explanation also could be that could be that this one time is enough for forever. Endless amount is enough.
Like the Rambam says, that these things you can't say how they're going to be until they're going to be.
You can perceive this story. Rashi, Rashi in Sanhedrin has 4 or 5 Perushim, and he says the end. He said, I don't know what it is because today you're not having kids. It's a prayer plane. He says. Cosmos doesn't exist. You don't know. It's a built-in thesis.
So one more word. The one is getting late, but I see the Isha Shatel B'chol Yoyim. I mentioned last week. There's 3 ways of looking at it. One way of looking at it is that every day she gets pregnant, she gives birth at the end of that day. The problem with that is that you have, first of all, Pashtim Shat. Every day a person will be with his wife. Second of all, when she gives birth, Api Halacha, she's tummy. So he can't be with his wife for another.
So won't be any tumor.
That's one answer. The Alter Rebbe doesn't accept that answer. The Alter Rebbe says in Moshiach will still remain this tumor of Yoledes.
The first kufa at least.
The first period is still going to be the tumor of Yoledes. Another,
The Rebbe says
so the
in the
Rebbe
Tanya,
therefore gives the pshat. The Rebbe says that she'll be once with her husband. She'll give birth for a number of days after that, each day, and then she'll eventually it's going to stop. She'll have to have tied, and then she'll again the same thing. There's Rashi in Masechta Shabbos himself. He really gives two pirushim, it seems. But in the first pirush he's saying, it doesn't say. So some of Farshim say it's really two pirushim. In the first pirush he says, the word is Hare v'led l'seyach l'v'linzer, but differently. He says that the day she'll be pregnant with one, she'll be able to
conceive another one.
Yeah, in other words, she'll be usually if a woman is pregnant, she can't conceive another child, but during her pregnancy, she'll still be able to conceive more. That's the way Rashi wants to learn. That that's the raya from the chicken. That the chicken, it's not just she gives birth every day, but I think the way it's mashma is that even if she already has a fertilized egg in her system, she could have another egg, get another. So in other words, it's a different word, but it's not that she'll give birth every single day, but that she'll be able to conceive. She won't have to wait to conceive another. In other words, she'll get pregnant again, and then she'll give. I guess she'll have a few. The Gemara even brings. You mentioned last week. The Gemara needed that ever brings about babies that were born 3 months apart that she conceived during her pregnancy another child.
The same birth, the same pregnancy.
Yeah, no.
Pregnancy can stretch out 3 months. Then what brings the raya?
She conceived wasn't Pshat she conceived during her pregnancy?
No, she did two twins.
Are you sure?
I'm almost sure.
Yeah.
There's look at this. Look, these two in our respect.
I have to look it up. Okay, fine. Because this is Muhammad Yassim Sheikh, take it from here.